honestly, I would never let myself off the hook if we were to miss an episode. Like, I would never. There's certain things that you can't ever miss, because if you miss them once, it's as good as missing it forever. And that, to me, that's the thing.
Productivity, peak performance, whatever you want to label it. When are you at your best? For me, I hit my best when I do my morning, wake up. I need to learn and eat protein first thing lately. Love it.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1887, it's Freestyle Friday. Also, I got a haircut. So if you're listening, you have no idea that I am usually, and have been for the last several months, a disheveled mess. I got a haircut today. And that is cool.
Strong work.
Yeah, I went out into the world during the day and everything.
What am I doing? I'm going to go get contacts during the day.
During the day?
Yeah.
When is the last time you left the house on a weekday between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.?
I don't know.
Long time.
We're going on a trip for Thanksgiving.
Where are you going?
Beaufort, South Carolina.
Yes. If anybody hears a meow, Fudge is in the office with me. He's locked in the office with me because there's mayhem going on.
We're going to work. Emilia and I were going to... Last time we road tripped. This time we're going to fly. Fly. And I'm still going to be coaching.
Coach up
do
store?
it. You and I are going to have to do 14 episodes the week before, though.
Ooh, I hate that for me.
Yeah.
Actually, I hate that for you more than for me because... for me, because that means it's going to be 9 a.m.s and 7 p.m.s.
The week before will be tough, but...
Well, we'll figure it out. So this was my thought. I've had a rough 2 days. The last 2 days have been rough. Set myself up here. I feel like I'm not in the right spot. It's been rough internally. Externally, everything's good. I feel good externally, but internally, there's just been a lot of stuff. I've been going through some stuff. And I had a moment today where it was like, I don't want to do a fucking thing. I don't want to do anything. Like I want to lay down. I'm like foggy because I'm so stressed out and so overwhelmed. And I said, Kev, just take a minute, go get in the shower, turn the hot water on, enjoy the shower, give yourself 10 minutes, give yourself 15 minutes. Let's go back out and see how we feel. What do you need? No, I didn't meditate there. I didn't do any yoga there.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Emilia and I were on a walk last night under the stars. Beautiful
under
walk.
The stars.
We were bundled because it's getting cold.
It is.
And she somehow on the walk, she said something about the showers, and I take long showers. Was from her perspective. I was like,
facts. Yeah.
Okay.
We know
I'm
this.
like, what do you mean? She's like, no, I'm not making it wrong. It's totally fine. Just, I said, well, how long are, your showers? And I looked it up. Average American, and again, for anyone global, I apologize that we Americans make everything about us in advance. But I needed the statistics for, like, the U.S. Average shower, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, man.
I was like, oh, my God. I do take long showers.
7 max.
No chance, dude.
No, what are we doing in here, man?
I do. I brush my teeth. I floss. I'm learning, always. So you said you shave in the shower. So do I.
Yeah, but I only shave once a week.
Same.
Yeah, it doesn't take me long to shave. I have an electric razor. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Quick. Quick with it.
Well, here's my point. I apparently take long showers. That's all.
You do.
And
yes.
I never would have thought. She's like, oh, yeah. That I expected that. I thought for sure a half hour would be the
I've
average.
been saying this for years. I've been saying it for years. It's a factual statement. I knew that.
If you were to ask Alexa or SIRI or any other AI device, what is the average length of a shower for the average American? What do you think the answer would be? I thought 30 minutes for sure.
What the freak?
I thought so.
I would have guessed 12 minutes max.
Really?
30 minutes, man.
5 to 10. Yeah, no, I
What
don't
in
take
the
30
hell?
minutes. Hey,
What do you have a closet to Narnia? You walk through the shower into another world?
I'm just saying, good 15 is good for me. A 15 is good for me.
Look, who am I to judge?
Apparently, I'm spoiled with my xiao-xiaos.
You are very spoiled with your xiao-xiaos, yes. I need it as a little reset. This is my thought for Freestyle Friday, okay? This is my thought.
You took a 16-minute shower?
No, I was like, I had to wash my hair twice because I got my hair cut. You got to get all the hair out. It's probably 8 minutes. 8-minute shower.
Nice.
I don't mess around, man. I'm in a rush.
Real quick, I know this is totally irrelevant. I'm
this whole
very
episode
thorough in my cleanliness.
It's becoming irrelevant.
Is it fair to say I'm a clean? I told you,
sure.
I said I'm very clean. I'm a clean man.
I would say you're a clean
I'm
man.
very thorough in my cleanliness. So I realize that that's probably why. Some of that's my conditioning. Some of that's my desire. Okay, we're going to move on.
I went in the shower,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a moment where I don't think that we talk about it a lot, but I don't think that mental health is talked about enough and what to do when you're having a mental health day. I don't think people really talk about that because I don't know. I don't know if it feels like it signifies weakness or because there's always I have two dialogues. One, Kev, push to the degree that you think is constructive. Right? You're not 100%. If you're really struggling and your mental health, you feel like it's off, you got to make sure you're taking care of you. There's one piece. And then there's this other piece of me that's like, just work harder anyway. A little bit. I have that piece. Some days that helps for me. Other days it doesn't. But like last night, I was answering messages until like, I don't know, what time did I text you?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was on WhatsApp until like 9 o'clock last night. So it was
that'll ruin a whole week.
It was a 15-hour day, like an 81 sleep score. So we're good.
Nice,
right?
Strong work.
We're good. But
I was up messaging at 3:30 in the morning.
Not good.
And I still got an 83. Went back to bed after that. 83.
I got a 59 the night before.
Oof.
And then I worked
64 the night before. Yeah,
then I worked a 16-hour day. Not great.
No.
So that's why I got an 81. But that's my thought for this episode. I don't know. If you're a dream chaser, nobody is really going to be there to tell you to speed up or slow down. And you have to be the one who knows yourself. I think that's another reason why self-awareness is so important. We didn't talk about this, did we? I was talking to a podcast host that I was on their show a long time ago, and I reached out and said, "Hey, long time no talk. How are things?" And he said, "Well, I left my full-time job, and I'm doing this entrepreneur thing." He said, "Let me tell you, Kevin, very humbling when you leave a full-time job, and then you're like, oh, I have so much time. I'm going to accomplish so much, and you just have no idea what to do. You just so much time and so little direction." That's being a dream chaser.
Yep.
But I think it also goes the other way of, say you have a list of 50 things that need to get done, and you're sick or something. You feel like your mental health is off, whatever it is. Do you push through or do you take the time? I think that's a really important thing to understand about yourself. And what's your natural tendency? Do you naturally say, well, I'll worry about that later, and then you never work on it? Do you feel like maybe on the other end you say, I have a little tickle in my throat. I need to take the day off. Where are you on this? Because I had COVID once, and we were grinding. It was right before Christmas 2022, I think. Mind blowing, it was that long ago. And we were grinding. That's when I was on like 20 other shows a week. It was nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts.
It was nuts. And I remember, I think it was on a Friday, I woke up and I felt terrible. I had a migraine, my throat was sore, I was like dizzy, and I think I had 9 calls that day. And I was like, oh, this is going to suck. This is going to suck so bad.
And you know what the weird thing is? You're grateful for the 9 calls.
I was super grateful.
It's, as a business owner, I always say this, and for the dream chasers out there, Jesus.
Dream chasers.
For the dream chasers. For the dream chasers out there, 2 types of challenges. One is not enough demand. The other one's too much demand.
Yes.
And when you wake up with 9 sessions back to back, you are grateful for that because you remember when you had 2 calls and couldn't get anyone on your calendar. Crickets.
Yeah, crickets.
So you can't forget crickets is worse than 9 calls, but here's the thing. When you have 9 calls and that becomes the norm, how do you sustain that?
Yeah, there's no, you kind of can't. It's not like you can't have a day off. It's like you can't have a 3 hours off.
So what was your, I've been there and I'm going to tell you mine, but I want to know what you did. What did you do?
I hammered it. Yeah, I hammered everything, and then
Nice.
I got to the end of the day, and my head has never hurt as I remember trying to go to bed that night, and I was just laying in bed, and I physically couldn't move because of how bad my head hurt. I've never had a headache like that. It was excruciating. It was one of the worst pains I've ever experienced. It was terrible.
Hammer some ibuprofen?
I don't know. Probably. Honestly, probably not. I don't like ibuprofen. I tend not to take it. I try not to take it ever. I try to take almost no medicine. I think it's a stubborn part of me. Kev, nobody cares. Hey, nobody cares. Take it. You need a little NyQuil? Why don't you take it? You're only hurting yourself.
Tools versus crutches. That's what we've done an episode on that.
I know,
NyQuil, every now and then you can't become dependent on it, but I'll tell you what, you want to sleep like a baby?
Yeah.
Hammer a little Nike.
Well, it was
every
terrible.
now and then.
I felt like absolute garbage, and it was brutal.
So I've been there, and I know for the listeners, this is whatever it is. You wake up and you're not in it, not good, and you look at your calendar and or your day, and you go, "How in the hell am I going to do this?"
Oh yeah.
And what I try to do is I'll try to move my first one so that I have a little extra. Like if I buy myself an hour, max 2, I can usually get it done. And that way I basically move. So let's say I move 1 or 2 podcasts or coaching sessions, usually not coaching. So everyone who's listening, long-term listener, I have a thing called a G3 target, Genius Zone. Do it in coaching all the time. All my clients know. For new listeners, I'm changing it to P3, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. I think that makes more sense. And for each quarter, we have a P3 target. We have priority 1, 2, and 3. We did a meetup on this recently.
Mm-hmm.
My number 1 priority is coaching. So I wouldn't move a coaching session. My priority 2 is training. My priority 3 is podcasting. So I might move and reschedule a podcast, maybe. If I'm really struggling, I'll move that. So you used to talk about Tetris, calendar Tetris. I'll try to move my calendar so that I have a space where I can actually take care of me.
Why the morning? Why do you do it in the morning as opposed to? For me, it's the opposite.
It's evening, yeah. It's get it done and then R&R. For me, it's I need the time in the morning. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is interesting for sure.
Isn't it weird how one of the weirdest things about you and I working together for as long as we have is we are almost the polar opposites in everything. I would rather get up early and work early, and I'm not saying you had a phase where you were up every day at whatever 4 or 5, whatever.
Yeah.
Terrible. I hate working late. I hate it.
I hate getting up early.
It's so interesting.
I know.
When I used to be a personal trainer, sorry I interrupted you, but you were going to interrupt me if I didn't interrupt you first.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go. When I used to be a personal trainer, it was dumb. You had, no matter what, if you worked a shift, you had to do like 2 check items. So you had to clean the treadmills and clean the bathroom or clean the back office, whatever. It was dumb. I always made sure everything I had to do was before my last client, because the second my last client walked out the door, I was out of there. Always.
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning the bathroom before I go. I'm going to clean the bathroom before the client comes in. Then I'll give it a real quick, make sure everything's good before I leave. No, I prep heavily when it comes to that. If I am leaving, like say I'm working a day and then I'm going somewhere later, I prep my stuff in the morning to make sure everything is ready.
When we travel together, Kevin is always, I wake up, mosey downstairs, and he's already working. He's been working for an hour and a half, maybe 2. And the moment we're done with whatever we're doing,
I'm done.
Kevin's done. Last night I couldn't sleep, so I ended up doing messages, social media, different things. And then I went back to bed, and I knew I was going to sleep in because I had already gotten most of my morning routine done. So at the end of the day, you do the gym in the morning, I do the gym in the evening. You put a lot of willpower into your workouts, I think. So you probably get better workouts than I do. I think I get better probably morning routines than you do, most likely. And not morning routines in terms of the amount of time. I think you probably have more time typically, but I'd be willing to bet that my cognitive output, and again, to make this relevant to the listeners, productivity, peak performance, whatever you want to label it, when are you at your best? For me, I hit my best when I do my morning, wake up. I need to learn and eat protein first thing lately. Love it. Dreamliner, in an ideal world, ROMWOD hasn't been happening. ROMWOD's mobility. And then I would shower for apparently 3 hours.
Minutes.
Yeah, no, 15 minutes while learning, get dressed, do my thing, and then I get to my first session. I'm ready to rock, and I'm good till I mean, we're working till 8:30 at night tonight. You mean that is excessive. I usually try to cut it at 7:30 latest, and then we go to the freaking gym, dude. Sometimes we're sitting in the parking lot, and it's Emilia and I'll get downstairs, and we'll have worked a whole day too, and I'll say, I need you to hold the line. And she'll say the same thing. One of us has to hold the line because I'm ready to call it.
That's what I do in the morning.
Let's do a walk. You feel
I won't
walking?
do it.
You want to walk instead?
I
Dude,
won't do
tonight
it
we're gonna
at night.
walk. We're supposed to go to the gym. We're gonna go walk. 8:30. You think I'm going to the gym?
You resent that at all? You resent the fact that again, I'm not gonna say you can't go to the gym, but do you resent the fact that it's harder now to go to the gym? If you're being real with us.
Yeah. I would say it pisses me off a lot that I cannot reach my standards in all things. But I also, that frustration I use to get better. So, for example, I think my workouts, so we've been doing 45-minute workouts. We've been exercising every day, 45 minutes. We've been doing weight training every other day, but honestly, it's probably at minimum 1 every 3 days. And so we're going to double up on Friday and Saturday. Emilia and I, every single week, every Sunday, we set up the week for success. And we have it on our whiteboard Monday through Sunday, but we do this on Sunday, so that never really happens. And we have metrics that we track. We have what we're going to eat. We have whether it's a walk or a workout. And so it's push, pull, legs. And so it's walk, push, walk, pull, walk, legs for the week. And then we pivot. And then she has group coaching tonight. So she puts whatever the big items are in our calendars so that we know and we can be more proactive. Okay, so I need to do dinner on the night that she's doing group coaching. She needs to do dinner on the night I'm doing group coaching. These systems and tools and structures sound insane. It's almost like the more that you're trying to accomplish, the more you kind of have to do these wonky things that are very unusual. NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
I think that's why so many of the morning routines you hear are just out there, because it's people that have way different goals than most people.
Yeah.
So that's why they have weird morning routines.
You remember when you and I, we went to a Brendan Burchard event, and later that night, we were pictures with the speakers and tagging Instagram. That was back when we were doing a lot of Instagram. And Brendan Burchard, he posted a video of him doing the ice bath the night before. These things that people do are customized to what they're doing. He's on stage all day, on his feet all day for 5 days straight during High Performance Academy. You don't need to do that unless that's what you're doing. You and I aren't on our feet all day. I'm on my butt a lot of the day.
My arse all day.
So you and I might not need a cold plunge first thing every morning. So people take these morning routines. What they don't realize is that these are customized. Don't just drag and drop a morning routine. You need to customize it completely. That's why I love one-on-one coaching so much. I have one client doing this morning routine, one client do. Everyone has a different system. Everyone does goals, metrics, habits, skills, and identity, but everyone has a different set of metrics and habits. As you should, yeah.
Yeah, as you should. That's why it's so challenging, because that's the other thing too. just because you do somebody else's morning routine does not suggest you're going to get the results that they get. Like, that's only one piece. I think it's supplemental that really adds value to the primary. So, like, I'm pretty sure there's science out that has disproved that cold water does anything for healing. I'm pretty sure, like, that's out there now. It's like,
Is it lower inflammation or whatever?
No, I don't think so. Even the ice thing, I don't think that's real. I'm pretty sure that's been, like, debunked, that icing something doesn't really do anything. Don't quote me on it, but I saw a study.
What is it?
Rest, ice, compression, and what's
elevation.
Elevate. Yeah, I think the person who came out with that was like, I messed up. I think. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be the. Yeah,
you know what? Actually, Pluto's not actually a planet. So
I have a question. Question for you. How many times do you make that plan on Sunday, and then does it actually happen like that? Do you ever make the plan on Sunday and then it just actually happens?
Absolutely.
What percentage of stuff gets shifted?
I had to have a challenging conversation with Amelia once about her relationship with pivots. She doesn't like to pivot.
Understandable.
If you can't pivot, you're screwed. You set up this. What is the quote is, planning is indispensable, but plans are useless. It's the planning that's super important, but you're gonna pivot throughout the week. And I have a much better relationship with pivoting than Amelia. She's come way up, which is awesome. So the other day we're gonna do a Conscious Couples podcast episode, and I walk into the office just like this with my head down. For those of you who can't see. And she's like, "You need to pivot?" I was like, "Yes." "We're not doing this today." "No." The answer's no. I'm not doing it. We're going to move it. You want to know why? Because we can. And I can't do it right now. But at the end, obviously I'm being playful. But never once has the whole week been planned and there wasn't a pivot. Even you and I, how many times? I mean, how many
this
times
episode this wasn't even on the calendar till yesterday. This wasn't even supposed to happen. I woke up before I went to bed last night. I was like, we don't have an episode for Friday. We have to record an episode tomorrow.
People ask us, podcasters ask us, so many people ask us. Yeah. People ask podcasters, how do you do one a day? I don't understand how you sustain that. And what would your answer be to that? Because it's obviously not just one answer.
The best answer I think I could possibly give is, outside of my wife, it is the main priority. I put the podcast over me. It's not about me. It's about the podcast. It doesn't matter if I don't feel it's
If you had to give 5 things how we did this, what would be the 5?
1,
and that would be the first one. So
that would be the first one. 2, we are naturally consistent human beings, bodybuilders, fitness. That helps. Like, there's something to somebody who knows. Just do the input. So that's 2. The third one is there's 2 of us. So there's always extra accountability.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one would be we literally have it in our branding. So there is even more public accountability there. Self-improvement in your pocket every day from anywhere on the planet, completely free.
Yeah, I locked it in.
It's locked in. And honestly, I would never let myself off the hook if we were to miss an episode. Like, I would never. There's certain things that you can't ever miss, because if you miss them once, it's as good as missing it forever. And that, to me, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's like I can wear it as a badge of honor. It's hard to explain, but it is. It's a badge of honor. It's a self against self. It's you versus your potential. It's public and private. It's
a mission. It's not a podcast. It's a mission. It's like it's not even about the episode. It's about the fact that this is the mission. This is what we do. We're going to try to do an episode every day for as long as humanly possible. That's what it is.
Yeah, it compounds. It's very cool.
But it's a priority. I think that's the biggest difference. Is it's a priority. It's outside of my wife. Almost nothing else matters if the episode hasn't been recorded. It doesn't matter that I haven't eaten. It doesn't matter. It's not. I can't think about that right now.
My future father-in-law is coming over in 6 minutes, but we have some time for this. I'm grateful. He's coming over in 9 minutes. I have a timer set for 6. And when I say future father-in-law, everyone assumes I'm engaged. We Emilia and I are very future oriented. We talk about it. We intend on it. All this stuff. I just
Married in
wanna
the
surprise
future.
you. Yeah. Yeah. How does someone set... Okay. Let's just say Kevin and I, it's our job to help you be successful and fulfilled holistically, health, wealth, love. Awesome. That's the train. That's the point of the podcast. That's the purpose. That's the mission. Spread self-improvement. Awesome. The podcast is the one thing that drives everything else. Deep conversation. Okay, you and I improve ourselves. We lead by example. We help others improve. It also builds a brand. It also builds credibility. It also helps us build grit and accountability. It also allows us to grow and scale the brand and become known. It also allows us to share our products and services. Like, that's the one train that allows all the other trains. I used to do this, and I don't know if it'll land because I don't know if this is, maybe we're too old now for this, but the very first Matrix movie, the second one, it's called Matrix Reloaded. And there's this scene where he's flying through the Matrix. I know this isn't where you thought I was going. And I always pull it up on my coaching sessions. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to all the time because I tried to explain this concept. And Neo's flying through the Matrix to try to save Trinity. You seen these movies?
I think I saw the first one, and I was like, it's
too
I
old now.
waited
Too far
long.
gone. Yeah,
I
floppy
waited too
disk
long.
right out of the front. So, Matrix Reloaded, flying through the Matrix. He's the one. He's doing it. He's hammering so fast that there's cars and glass.
Spoiler alerts. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
I mean, come on. This came out, what, in 2002? It's all fine. So this is a kid. And he's flying through, I think, New York City, some large city. And there's glass and there's cars and there's all these things, this vortex of... He's flying so fast that there's all these other things surrounding him. And I pull that picture up, and it's Neo in the center and all this debris around it. And I say, what's your Neo? The podcast is the Neo for Kevin and I. If you took away this podcast, you would take away a large percentage of you and I's growth, you and I's business, you and I's brand, you and I's impact, you and I's profitability, you and I's learning, you and I's identity, right? So for anyone out there watching or listening, this isn't what probably Kevin intended with Freestyle Friday, but what's the one train that if you really did stay consistent at it and you really did make it the priority other than your wife or husband or family or kids or whatever, and you never missed that one thing, it would change everything? That's a great question. If I never missed this one thing, it could change everything. What's that thing?
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to juggle it's hard to juggle life for a long period of time in a constructive direction. It's really hard to do that because there's so many life things that are going to happen that I think that's when it gets challenging. Days like today where I'm overwhelmed and I'm stressed out and I had some stuff happen and it just sucks. It's like, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to be super hard to record an episode. But when we were going through some family stuff and somebody in the family was passing away and we were going back and forth to see this person, it's like you and I we recorded an episode at like 9:00 at night or something. I was like, hey man, I have to be there. I can't miss this. Are you available later? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then there's been times where I don't know what happened. I don't know if you I think you might have been, no, you weren't sick. I don't know if you overslept or something and you missed a meeting on Saturday morning and we were supposed to record. And I was like, dude, I can't record later. I'm not going to be home or something. And you and I ended up recording on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sunday's family day. We very, very, very rarely, I can probably count on one hand how many times you actually recorded on Sunday for NLU at least. And I'm sure
Yeah, for sure.
you and Amelia do.
I can't stand doing front-facing stuff on Sunday. Every now and then I have to with Emilia, but quick story, 2020, I have a coach, his name's Alex, and one of the best coaches I've ever had. I screwed that up. But he said, what are your dreams? I've told this story before, but it's super important, especially for the new listeners. And I told him all of them. Fitness model, fitness competitor, speaker, commencement address at my alma mater, all of it. All this stuff. He said, okay, if you had to pick one. And no. I've been told what I can't do my whole life. You're not going to be one of those people, are you? He said, no, bear with me. Hypothetically, if you had to pick one, this is back in the Hyperconscious podcast days. If you had to pick one to go all in on, which one would it be? And I said I really had to sit with it. This took a minute. I had to really think. Because I was so committed to all my dreams. And I said, it's the podcast. He said, okay, why? I said, I don't need someone else's permission to practice my craft. I can just go practice speaking with Kev as much and as often as we want. And it's where we're having the biggest impact. We're meeting listeners. We used to meet listeners constantly back in those days when Instagram actually worked. I'm kidding. But it's the podcast. It's the most fulfilling. Answer. He said, well, here's the secret. If you go all in on that one, you can have all the rest. And he's absolutely right, except for fitness.
I talk about that all the time on podcasts. I think that's one of the most profound things I've ever learned. Because that's the thing. I never wanted to be a speaker. I never planned on being a speaker. I never thought I'd get paid to speak. That happened because of the podcast.
Yep.
All of that happened.
If you wrote a list out of all the things that happened because of the podcast, that would be insane.
It'd be like everything.
It'd be 90% of your impact and your success. Same. And that's wild. If you can find that for you out there watching or listening. I got a opportunity, again, we'll see, but I'm might be going to WPI tomorrow for an opportunity to speak. I had some students reach out. That was because of the podcast. Right? The podcast is not only the impact, but it's also the credibility. So you never know. What's your thing? What's the main train that if you were consistent, maybe it's personal development every day. Maybe it's listening to this show every day. Maybe it's making sure you exercise every day. That's been a game changer for me. What's the main train that makes all the rest of your life work better? And then if you just focus some time and effort on making sure that thing happens and that you adapt and keep it sustainable, it can change everything.
It can definitely change everything. This is a little Freestyle Friday action. I enjoyed this one very much.
Same.
The takeaway for me would be, I don't even really know. You got to know the way you flow through your day, because when you pivot, which you most likely will have to at some point, your pivot's going to be different than mine, which is going to be different than Alan's, and I think that's super important. I don't know if cold water matters at all, evidently. That's another thing that we talked about today. And one thing. What is the one thing that will be the train that gives you the opportunity to attach other trains to it? Not a train. The train, what are the things that you attach to it?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I guess it's like the engine and then the carts.
Yeah, there you go.
You find your engine and everything else kind of becomes carts.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right, cool. Next Level Nation, if you have not purchased your Dreamliner, Next Level Dreamliner, Alan was talking about it. No, you were talking about fitness. I am doing this every day. It's a game changer for me. Again, we talk about the stuff we believe in. I believe in it very deeply, so we will have that as a link in the show notes, the direct link to Amazon. Alan, what do you have going on that you want to talk about?
What do I have
nothing.
going on?
He's got nothing.
Book club. We're starting a new book.
Texting pops. Yes. Yep.
New book, The Art of Thinking Clearly. Do you know the guy's name?
Absolutely not.
Rob.
No,
Rolf?
I think it's Rolf. I believe he's European. Maybe I don't know.
It's The Art of Thinking Clearly. It's about the cognitive biases. It's how to think more rationally, and it's how to eliminate cognitive distortions. I always say you can't make good choices if you're not thinking accurately. This is going to be the book to help you think more accurately so you can make better choices. Book club, the link to register will be in the show notes. We have a little WhatsApp community. It's not recorded. It's totally private. We set intentions each week. We really hope. Self-improvement books for self-improvement people. Next level books with next level people. We hope that you join us. We've been doing it for almost 4 years.
If you want to read more books, a great way to do it. We talked about how we've stayed consistent, accountability and necessity, accountability and necessity. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Stay consistent. Next Level Nation.